Hi, welcome to this week's edition of From People Problems to Productivity. I'm Kirsten Rosvogel, your host, and today I am talking about how to launch into a correction conversation with ease. And if you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments or say hi. Just let me know you're here. And if you haven't met me, I'm Kirsten Rosvogel, founder of the Impact Academy, Focus Forward Coaching, and I help leaders build high performing teams with simple, proven, and actionable leadership communication and selection strategies. So I love to share here just really simple tactics that you can implement immediately that can help transform your team if you're having any struggles. And as always, I want to invite you to, if you're not comfortable posting a comment to ask your question, feel free to throw something into the DMs and I can respond that way. Or better yet, grab a spot on my calendar. It's super easy. I've got the link right here, myimpactacademy.com/book call. You can grab 30 minutes on my calendar and let's create some strategies and talk about some possible next steps working together. All right. So today, like I said, I'm talking about how to create a good correction conversation. So often when I'm meeting with a leader, they might start, the coaching in general, we're strategizing about things that, didn't go as well as they would have liked recently. And then also strategize about things coming up. So a current challenge, struggle, frustration, disappointment, all those kinds of things. And so often someone will have a frustration with an employee and they're feeling uncertain about how to move forward. And again, I see you there. I see eyeballs. Say hi. Let me know who you are. Love to know that you're there. I just get to see the numbers, not the people. So would love to have you say hi. But and if we're sometimes it's just a generic feeling of I'm just frustrated with this employee. And then if there's uncertainty, then that leads into I don't know how to bring up the topic. What am I going to say? So here's a simple strategy to help you gain clarity about what the conversation should even include. And it's as simple as deciding what specifically is happening that is creating the frustration. Is it an attitude thing or an aptitude thing? And actually, most things will can drop into those two buckets. Crazy, right? Like I said, I always look for simple solutions. So, and it helps to gain clarity again if we can just simplify the process. So, an employee is frustrating you. How are you going to have a conversation if you don't know what it is that's frustrating about their performance? Well, let's boil it down. Is it an attitude thing or an aptitude thing? So, attitude can be their behavior, their nonverbals, the way they're communicating with team. Are they sabotaging? What is it? Is it something? So, there's an attitude thing. They're acting entitled. They're showing up late, acting like they're entitled to do that. Again, say hi if you're hopping in. If you have additional questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them here or book that call with me, myimpactacademy.com/book call. The link's right there. And if it's not the way they're communicating, kind of facial expressions, those kinds of things, then it's likely an aptitude thing. So are they missing some skills? Are they failing to follow procedures? So those are more kind of tactical, specific. But so figuring out which is it, and sometimes it's both, but which is it that's creating the frustration, the challenge? And ultimately, I like to think of it in terms of a gap. There's a gap in their performance or their behavior. What is the gap? So there's how you want them to be behaving, doing their job, conducting themselves, and then there's how they are. So there's a gap. So we need to identify what that gap is. And then when we get specific, as always, now we can create a plan. So if you're getting ready to have a correction conversation with an employee who's frustrating you, the first thing is it an attitude or an aptitude thing? Get specific. If it's a little bit of both, document that. Well, their attitude's not great. They huff off when I do try to talk to them. I have 5 stay stuck strategies that I talk about often that are strategies that employees and people in general through life will utilize to stay stuck, not hear contrary information, defensiveness, defriending, deflection, denial, those kinds of things. So that can be an attitude thing. And then the aptitude is, are they missing skills? So once again, you've gotten specific, now you know how to enter into the conversation because now you can plan for if it's an aptitude thing, they're missing some skills or they're not following protocols, etc. Now you know, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm seeing and how you're conducting yourself at work, but this is what I need. This is the protocol that you're not following, the procedure. Now you can create a plan. Do they need to review the procedure? Do they need to shadow someone? Do they need to take an online refresher course to upgrade some skills that aren't specific to your organization? That's the other thing too, is the aptitude thing something specific to your organization? So they do need to like take a look at some of the documentation internally, or are they missing some skills that they should have picked up outside of the organization? Let's say, and it's an accountant and they're missing some things. So is there some freshening up that they need to do around their accounting skills? So that helps you create the plan. And hopefully you have a good performance improvement procedure, which is just a form. Basically, it's just that you use that to document what the plan is. So here's the behavior, or, here's the gap, identify the gap. And then here's what needs to happen to fix it. And then you have a deadline on it. And then you have the conversation and document all of that on your performance improvement plan. Super simple. So again, if you're hopping on, say hi. If you're watching this as a replay, I would love it if you do pound replay or make a comment, ask a question. Again, some people have been DMing me, which is I really appreciate, but let me know you saw it. And if you implement anything from here, I love to hear that too. So again, there's a frustration. You identify it's an attitude or an aptitude thing that's creating the gap in their performance. From there, now you can simplify and get specific. Oh, it's their attitude, or oh, it's an aptitude thing. This is the skills that they're missing, or this is what we need to brush up around their performance. Maybe it's how they're answering the phone. Who knows? So you document that, and then you think about what's a good plan that I can create to invest in them to help them minimize this gap so that they're performing the way I need to have them perform. Now, how they respond to you during this correction conversation will also give you information. So don't avoid them. So here, use these simple strategies to get prepared for a correction conversation. Have the conversation. Too often I hear from clients, I didn't have time. If that's you, I'm going to help you build the motivation to have the correction conversations by thinking about how much time you're spending on cleaning up or listening to other employees complain, or all the kinds of things that are not productive use of your time around a performance issue. You are wasting time around that, and you can recapture that time by addressing the performance. So do have the correction conversation. And again, their response will also give you information because it'll tell you their attitude around their desire to correct. So really, it's a gift that you give your employees if you tell them how they're doing, if you give them this feedback. And then, of course, provide a plan for improving their performance. I do want to say if it's an attitude thing, there's not necessarily a plan. That's just like click your fingers and stop, being angry or bring some positive energy to the workplace. Unless they need an anger management class or something. But anyway, yeah, I want to encourage you to have the conversation. And again, that information, you can tell if there's a willingness. Do they have a desire to do well? Because that's really key too. If the information you get is it feels like they're using stay stuck strategies, getting defensive, not wanting to hear, deflecting, trying to hijack the conversation, then that kind of tells you, maybe they're more interested in continuing to work the way they are than to work the way I need them to work. And so now you have information, and maybe that's something else to address around their attitude, that, you need them to want to do the job that you need them to do, the way you want them to do it. So anyway, that information will help give you the next steps for this employee. Is it likely that they're going to be successful and make the changes that you need to see? So I hope that helps. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you want to grab a spot on my calendar, would love to chat. We can hop on a Zoom. You just go to myimpactacademy.com/book call. Super simple. You grab a spot. It'll throw the calendar event into my calendar and yours, and we'll show up on Zoom and have a quick chat. And I hope these strategies help you to launch into those correction conversations that you've been putting off. So, thanks again for joining. I will be back next week for the next installation of From People Problems to Productivity. And again, I'm Kirsten Ross Vogel, and I hope that you have an amazing week. Thanks.